Welcome to this week's episode of the Soda Mojo Podcast. My name is Trevor,
And my name is Ethan.
and we're just a couple of high school baseball coaches from Tacoma who love talking Mariners baseball. Bro, are you not going to throw your tagline in there?
We're so back.
There it is.
And there it is.
Why do you have to pause?
I gotta wait for you to start the.
Goodness gracious. We can't get this
We're
figured
so
out.
back.
Bro, what episode? We're on episode 19 and you still haven't figured out your catchphrase. Like at this point, we might just not have one.
We're so back.
We're so back, man. Okay. Hey, we have a ton to talk about, so we're not going to waste any time. Tons of stuff to talk about. We're going to get into our preseason predictions. Surprise, surprise, Ethan and I disagreed on 95% of it, so it's going to be fun.
Literally every division, like
I don't
most
think-
award winners.
I don't think we had one division that was the same.
Nope.
So we'll tease it out a little bit. Our predictions are pretty wacky. The cool part about doing a show on a podcast is that all of this will be recorded for all of eternity, which means it'll be on the internet, which means at the end of this season, we're going to be able to go back and see who was more right. I mean, more than likely it'll be Ethan, but you know, there's a reason why I don't gamble, and it's because I'm wrong most of the time. So here we are. All right, hey man, we got to start where we start. So last time we recorded was last Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
It is now Wednesday the 27th. Spring training is over. The season starts tomorrow. And the biggest story that has come out in the last week since our last recording has to do with the highest paid guy in all of baseball.
And one of the most popular players in general.
I think
in any sport.
Probably the most popular player in the world for baseball.
Yeah.
Across sports, it's going to be hard to like outdo Ronaldo, and soccer is actually pretty big everywhere other than the United States. So
Shohei Ohtani, apparently, Ipe, his translator, his lifelong friend and translator.
They do everything together. They said they spend 365 days together.
Yeah.
A year. That's nuts.
For many years.
Right.
Forever. Is basically a liar. And lied about him graduating from UC Riverside in 2007. Lied that he worked for the Red Sox. And then he took Ohtani's money and sports bet with an illegal book, Cali.
Right, which is so dumb on so many levels.
Extremely dumb.
How you don't think you're going to get caught at some point. And you put Ohtani in a weird spot. Ohtani has like come out many times saying like he doesn't even watch other sports, like doesn't keep track of it. His teammates came out in support of him and they're like, dude, this guy doesn't care about anything other than playing baseball.
Yeah, Angels guys.
Right,
too.
the Angels guys.
Not even the Dodgers
right.
guys, it's the Angels guys.
So guys that like know him, that have been in the same locker room with him. I mean, anybody that's played sports, lest guys that have played 162 games together plus spring training, like these guys know each other better than their wives probably know each other, right? Like,
yeah.
I'm just saying, they know each other better than their wives know them, right? Like these guys spend so much time together. So the Angels teammates that came out in support of him, like that means a lot.
Yeah. Like at first I was highly skeptical.
You were convinced. You were like, dude, Ohtani's guilty. I have a text message from you that says Ohtani's guilty, bro.
Well,
you literally
that
said
was
that.
That was because one, he was going to talk to the media, and on top, he canceled the first one, and then he pushed it back again.
Bro, it's because there's lawyers involved. Like I guarantee you, their lawyers are like, "Here's what you need to say. Here's how you need to say it." They're going to need to prep him properly, right? There's a lot of things at play here.
Yeah, and then it also doesn't help that his contract is deferred. Like, there was a whole tweet that went out of, Ohtani, a bet was placed on blah, 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 and Ohtani gave up 6 earned runs against the Braves and went 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts.
Right, but that guy's like, his source was, trust me, bro.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, there's so many guys that tried to clout chase, tried to say that they had a source. Dude.
It kind of made sense.
You could just look at any blown save by Ohtani and then make up a story about that, not in a tweet. That guy's source was, trust me, bro. And of course, it got a ton of traction. Tons of people were talking about it. It was the Kate Middleton scenario of the MLB. right? My wife was all over that. I had no idea what was going on. I was tracking Otani. She was tracking Middleton. It got weird. All I'm saying is all the conspiracy theories go around. And then he comes out and he's like, dude, I didn't know anything about this. He stole from me. I'm devastated. And, obviously the money side, he'll be fine, right? He's not worried about the money side, but you're talking about a close confidant, probably one of your best friends, if not your best friend. You just got married, right? You just got signed to the biggest contract that anybody's ever signed. Your life's looking pretty great. You're going to an organization that's a perennial winner, perennial World Series contender, and then you get the rug pulled out from you right when the regular season starts. Man, I mean, imagine being
Right when
him.
it starts.
Imagine being him, bro. Like that. That actually really sucks.
It does.
Because
Yeah,
we saw the Dodgers. We saw the Dodgers go, and they went to Seoul, to South Korea, to play against the Padres in the season opener last week. They split the series.
Yeah.
Went 1-1.
Yamamoto got shelled, by the way.
Yamamoto got chased in the
It
first.
was rough. I mean, obviously, didn't watch it. It was 3 in the freaking morning.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
If it was the
yeah,
Mariners, I would have watched it, but
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. I would've either stayed up or
Yeah.
most likely stayed up.
Yeah.
Um,
So, anyways, I mean, the Otani stuff is just really sad. I don't know if there's really too much more to add on to it. I'm actually glad that our podcast wasn't recorded when that first came out, because I feel like everyone's takes were pretty rough right off the bat. Conspiracy theories everywhere. No one had a really well thought out opinion. And now it like pretty much everything's come out. So we're not going to be making wild
like,
guesses.
I trust the teammates that
Dude.
backed him up from the Angels a
100%.
lot more than a guy on Twitter.
100%.
Yeah.
No doubt. I'm gonna trust a guy. I'm gonna trust a handful of guys that were with him for most of the year, many years in a row. Those guys know each other extremely well. I'm gonna take that word over anybody else's, honestly.
Yep.
Moving forward, we finally saw another Boris client sign and another Boris client get hosed by listening to Scott Boris.
Yeah, so, Jordan Montgomery signed last night to a deal that is not what we thought it would be back in December because they held out for so long. 1 year, $25 million. That is a lot, I will say. By
Not
the
for
way,
Jordan Montgomery though. I mean, he was a dude for the Rangers last year. I mean,
he was
like,
due for the Rangers. He didn't go back to the Rangers, so he
thank
goes to
God.
Arizona.
So the fact that Snell and Montgomery did not go to the AL West is like a minor miracle.
They both went to the NL West.
Right.
Like, that is a miracle.
Well, but the NL West is one of the most, competitive divisions in all of baseball.
Yeah,
of
especially
course.
with the Rockies.
Hey, every division has a seller team. Okay. I'm just saying. Rockies are the seller team of the NL West. But what I'm saying is good for the D-backs, man. They went all in. They see a window of opportunity.
Shocking.
Last year, they made it in with less talent, rookies, guys coming through that they didn't expect. They see a window. They're pushing all in. They invested, and now they're going to go push for it again. Weird.
Crazy how that works.
Isn't that strange? I didn't think that was allowed.
It's
Are
not.
teams allowed to
It's not.
actually invest into an open window of playoff contention?
No idea.
So good for them, though. Good for them.
Cool.
Bad for Scott Boris. Again, I said it last week. I'm going to say it again. I hope Cal's paying attention. Cal, do not listen to Scott. Fire his booty, or just don't listen and get an extension with the Mariners and keep going.
Yeah, and say screw you, Scott.
Yeah. What else you got?
Oh, okay. So, Edwin Arroyo, great prospect. Fell off a little bit after the Castillo trade. He will miss the entire season with shoulder surgery.
So that's
So
literally
now
every
Noelvi Marte
prospect.
has been suspended for PEDs. Edwin Arroyo's out for the year. Levi Stout is back on the Mariners, and Andrew Moore is still in single A. Yeah, I think this is why you trade prospects.
This is why you trade prospects. Those of you who cling to prospects like it's your last dying breath, this is why you're okay with trading prospects for known commodities like Luis Castillo.
Yeah, this is why you do it.
Yeah.
I love it. In other words, sad news. Wyatt Langford has made the Rangers opening day roster.
Not surprising at all.
Guy was playing in college last year at Florida. At this time last year.
And
he was raking.
And he has been torching it.
And he torched the minor leagues. Like, he played barely any single A games, barely any rookie ball, got called up to double A right away, ended the year in triple A, and had just has not stopped, and now he's probably gonna hit either 3rd or 6th for the Rangers on opening day as their DH, and he's gonna rake, and I'm scared.
Yep, as we
Him and
should be.
Evan Carter, I'm scared.
I'm just saying add that whole lineup together and add Wyatt Langford to that. Good
Yeah,
God.
yeah,
Good Lord.
that's even better than last year's lineup.
Yeah. Yep.
'Cause
They're gonna have to carry.
yeah,
With how they're starting pitching, their scores are gonna look so funky. It's
it's
gonna be
gonna
like
look like the Cardinals from last year.
right, it's gonna be like 15 to 11, like
Yeah.
every game. Speaking of Scott Boras, though, we're not done. JD Martinez, another Scott Boras client, he signed yet another 1-year deal. Now that's more expected with JD Martinez.
Yeah,
He's probably going to do 1-year deals until he retires. Goes to the Mets.
which is odd because he declined the Giants,
Right.
which I think the
And I'm like,
Giants
you're
are
going to decline the Giants to go to the Mets? Okay. And then he's like, I'm addicted to the playoffs. I'm like, well, bro, like, welcome to withdrawals
yeah,
because you're not going with the Mets.
that addiction will end shortly soon,
Yeah. So 4.5 mil this year. And then a
which
weird,
actually
like,
is a great deal.
that's a great 1-year deal for him. And then a 1.5 mil deferral from 2034 to 2038. What a weird, that's a weird deferral.
Yeah,
But sure, knock yourself out.
sure. That's gonna be a meme down the road. Like, oh, the Mets are paying
JD
JD
Martinez.
Martinez
Yeah.
more than some prospect who's a stud.
Right.
And then other short news: the Reds acquire Santiago Espinal. We found out why, because Matt McLean is going to start the year on the IL. Probably going to miss most of the year with a shoulder issue, shoulder kid surgery successfully. Rangers signed Michael Lorenzen on a 1-year deal, 4.5 mil.
That's a big deal.
That's
Because
somewhat of a big deal.
Lorenzen's actually like, he's good. I like, you know what? Like, I
I don't know why
understand.
the Phillies let him go.
Yeah. I can't believe the Phillies let him go. He was with Detroit at one point too, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. And he was like, he's good. And so I'm like, okay, he got a 1-year deal, 4.5 mil. Now with Woo hurt, which we'll talk about, I'm like, man, I would have, if I'm the Mariners, why would you not do a 1-year,
Yeah, take a
4.5
flyer
mil
on him.
deal? Take a flyer on him, have him as your 5, have Woo as your 6 starter, and then work him into more innings. I'm just saying, like, it's a little shocking how much depth they have not tried to get at the starting pitching position. I mean, we have Emerson Hancock, who has his own injury issues, which again, we're going to talk about all this when we get to the Mariners updates. We really couldn't do a 1-year deal, 4.5 mil for Michael Lorenzen
Yeah,
as a 5. Like we're not willing to do that. Okay.
yeah. And then other injury news: Eduardo Rodriguez will start the year on the IL with a left lat strain. Could also be partially why the Diamondbacks went after Montgomery a little bit more than they did. I mean, it's not the reason, but it helps a little bit.
We also heard that Justin Topa opened the year on the 15-day IL. And actually, we didn't put this in the notes, but this came out yesterday. Paul Sewald is going to start the year on the IL for the Diamondbacks as well.
Oh, I did not actually know that.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah. So
Pitchers.
2 guys that we got rid of that people were upset about. I mean, obviously,
And Baroa, by the way. Baroa was like a few weeks ago.
right.
Same thing.
Right. So again, Paul Sewald is a dude. We'll always love him, always cheer for him. Hopefully, this is just a short little IL stint for him. But him and Topa, so 2 guys that were pretty big pieces of our bullpen last year that we got rid of. They're starting the year on the IL. So
Yeah. And then another news: Rockies extending Ezekiel Tovar for 7 more years. I don't know why Tovar would do this. I don't know why you would strain yourself in Colorado, other than the offensive numbers. The Guardians put Miles Straw on waivers.
that was crazy.
That was shocking because one, Straw is a great defender.
He's fast.
He's really fast. He's a cannon of an arm. Takes good routes.
And
All
in the
that.
spring, he batted 300 plus.
Hitting like upper 300s this
Right.
spring. So like, why would you do that now?
So what I heard is it was because it was his contract. It was like 4.5 mil or something like that for this year.
I would not do that. That's
Yeah.
JD Martinez.
Right.
Yeah, that's
But
not.
even still, doing it at this point in the year, like the Guardians are just folding on the year already, which we're going to talk about when we get to the standings that we're going to talk about. They didn't do anything this offseason.
No. Well, in typical Guardians fashion.
Right.
So you want to talk about the last one?
Right. Yeah, man. Mariners legend. Mariners legend. So this is such a weird situation to me. So Mike Ford was with the Reds through spring training. He raked.
Raked.
Like he was batting like 455 or something crazy. And then had 3 bombs, all of which were against who?
The Mariners.
The Mariners. And guess what? Had 2 of those in the same game. And then the next day got granted his release from the Reds.
It's just horrible timing.
Just like, what the? And I'm like, there were so many people on Twitter like, bring him home. Bring him home. I don't know where he fits. I mean,
He
he
would
doesn't
not
fit
wanna go
anywhere
to
in this.
Tacoma again.
No, and that's where he would be. We
Yeah.
don't have any room for him. But I hope he lands somewhere, man, and that he plays. I freaking love Mike Ford. I don't even
It's
care.
like if you wanna bring him back, cool, but then that's literally the same team as last year.
Yep.
Did you wanna repeat last year? No. Like, he can go succeed in Pittsburgh
Right.
or, Cleveland. I don't know. Like, I want him to succeed at the major league level, not be stashed in Tacoma and then get called up for 20 games. I don't
All right, man. Well, that wraps up our around the league leading into opening day. Nothing other than that, at least bigger news wise. It feels like everybody's just gearing up, getting ready for the regular season to start tomorrow.
we're so back.
We're so back. Let's get into Mariners updates. All right, so let's get started with a quote that I thought was really cool. So Daniel Kramer, who works for MLB, wrote up an article about the impact that they've already been experiencing from Mitch Garver being in Seattle. Just said this. I'm going to read it and then we'll discuss it. It says this. So when the Mariners signed Garver to a 2-year, $24 million deal in December, the ever curious Bryce Miller and George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, and Brian Wu, for that matter, explicitly sought the veteran out. It's good to know what other teams have on you and how they approach the game, Miller said. Texas got me both times out there against him, and I'm not a lot better, but I'm a lot better now than I was when I was in Arlington. It's good information. So the whole article is cool. It goes into detail, but basically outlining how these pitchers who got roughed up, right? Wu got shattered.
Oh,
His
that was
first
that was a bad situation.
yeah, it was a bad situation. He came in for an injury. It was his first start as a starter. Goes against Texas
Gives
of
up,
all
like,
lineups,
6 in the 1st
and then
inning.
got absolutely shelled. And so Wu has struggled against the Rangers. Miller and his fastball has gotten tapped up by the Rangers. And so they just brought it up. And this is honestly been kind of a newer thing for this team, is it seems like they're using each other a lot more.
Yeah.
Right. Where they're like, every time they strike out, they go back to the dugout and they tell each other, like, hey, what'd we learn?
Oh,
And in the same vein, they're going, hey, you guys absolutely shredded us in Texas. What was their approach? What was their scouting report on me so that I can make those adjustments? Like, what tells did I give? What pitching sequence were they looking for? What specific pitch were they looking for? Basically getting like, hey, what is the insider information on how the Rangers are approaching their at bats against me, and then learning from that. And dude, especially as a young pitcher, that's that value that information literally doesn't have a price tag.
yeah. Like, that leadership is so crucial.
And so you look at Mitch Garver bringing in that leadership, and then to tag onto that, Mitch Haniger's leadership, right? And they've come out a ton this last week, a couple of articles referencing how Haniger being in the clubhouse is huge. Julio, I think, mentioned it when he was on the mic during one of the spring training games. Mitch Haniger literally hit a home run as
That was so
Julio
cool.
was,
Yeah,
was
that was
talking about him, which was cool. But Julio was just like, man, just having that veteran leadership. He's like, Mitch works harder. Haniger works harder than anybody in the clubhouse, which has always been true about him. That's what a lot of
yeah.
people have said. I don't think there's a way that you can describe how important that veteran leadership was. And honestly, it was something that we missed last year.
I was about to say that. Like, we completely missed that. They were counting on Julio to do, like, everything.
Right. And
Like,
he's just not there yet, which is fine. I mean, eventually he'll be that veteran
yeah,
that guys
but
look to,
he's
but he
like
hasn't been in there and done that yet.
yeah, like 2 years ago, it was Carlos Santana and Mitch.
Right.
Now it's Garver and Haniger. So, Garver I love Garver. Also, if you've ever heard him talk, he's just like a complete baseball nerd, which is kinda what we need. We need a guy like that who gives insight on everything. I mean, he's a catcher, so, like, obviously, by natural thought, he's gonna be just an absolute nerd. Um,
Did you just call
nerd
all catchers nerds?
nerds.
He's a nerd.
Um, but
But
it's
here's it. Yeah,
great though.
I mean, it is great,
Yeah.
and I think having that veteran leadership is great. The veteran at bats that we're going to get from them, hitting in the clutch situations that they hit in. I think Mitch Haniger. I was literally teaching our high school guys yesterday. I was like, go watch Mitch Haniger hit and how he stays on plane. I think he does it better than any. Like he's probably one of the top 10 guys of keeping his bat on plane and in the zone for as long as possible. If you
I
watch
take
it, it's
Garver's up
crazy.
there too.
Yeah, both
That
those guys.
swing, I'm in love with his swing.
They're just on plane for so long. They keep the barrel in the zone longer than so many other guys. It's
Yeah.
crazy, and that's helpful, man. Speaking of leadership, conversation came up. Wanted to get your thoughts on it. Should J.P. Crawford have the captaincy on his chest? I mean, what do you think?
It's tough because when was the last time someone had a captaincy on their chest in the Mariners?
It's a good question.
Like, is he that much of a captain more than anybody else in the last, I don't know, 10, 20 years?
I can't even remember the last
Yeah, I
player
don't
that
think
had a C on
Seager
their
had it.
chest. No.
And if you would think he would have had it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's tricky to me.
Because the leadership is multifaceted. It's not
Yeah.
just
I'd rather
Crawford.
give it to Haniger than JP, honestly.
I could see that. I could see an argument for that. Now, JP has been a steady voice for many
Yeah,
years,
and he's been a
right?
staple.
Yeah,
Like,
he's been a staple leader and has led from the front, takes ownership, accountability, builds guys up. I mean, we've heard about his clubhouse presence has been very good.
yeah,
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I think about that. I probably lean on your side, which is, has he earned it more than any other player in the last 10, 15 years? Like, probably not. I don't even know. We'd have to look
he's
that
up
up.
there for sure.
He's definitely up there. But I think our leadership is also like multi-pronged.
Mhm.
It's not
It's
just
not just
one
one
guy.
guy,
Like
it's
Derek
multiple
Jeter
people.
was the captain,
Yeah.
right? Like that guy literally led the Yankees. He was the guy. I don't know if he's that guy.
You're not that guy.
You're not that guy, bro. I literally said that to a kid the other
I know.
day. Like you're not that guy.
You're not that guy, bro.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
So
I tried to do a pickoff move
he's
to
safe for
second,
he's a
threw it
buck.
into center field. He's safer to buck. All these inside jokes from our season. Anybody that's coached knows, like you get these little like moments where you do or say things that are just quotable forever, and here we are. So any of our coaches listening, they know what we're talking about. Okay, so a couple guys that finished the year strong. I'm gonna emphasize one of these later, so I'm gonna not talk at great length. But it was cool to see Ryan Bliss and Demo really finish strong. I feel like all throughout spring, Dom Canzone has been strong from start to finish. Mitch Haniger was strong from start to finish. Julio really got hot towards the end. So Polanco was hot all spring. So like there's a lot of guys we could point to that were strong all spring. The two guys that just in the last couple of weeks that came up big with some RBIs that, did really well to finish this spring strong was Ryan Bliss and Dylan Moore. So that was cool to see.
Yeah. Another guy that finished strong will be on my player of the week, by the way.
Yeah, we'll get there.
So worst news.
This
John,
is not the worst news, but
this
it is frustrating
it's
news.
very frustrating. John Stanton hopped on a mic. That should be the bad news. But what he said is ridiculous. He basically said that, first of all, he talked about the shedding payroll moves. He mentions guys like Evan White and Marco. He
But doesn't
mentions, but then doesn't mention the two that actually mattered,
Kelnick and
Kelnick
Gino.
and Gino.
Right. Coward.
He's like, yeah.
And
So
then he blames it all, and then he lays it at the feet of Jerry.
he said, I give
And
Jerry and Justin all the power in the world, and I write most of the checks. Yeah, most of them. What do you count as most?
No, it
Because
was just a disaster. These guys suck at PR. I'm just saying.
they suck at everything.
Right.
They're not even good at business.
Right. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, you should never be on the mic ever.
But when you are, it's because something good happened. Because Jerry and Justin saved.
Oh, he'll be down on the field. He'll be down on the field to accept.
He's gonna get booed if he's on the field tomorrow.
Oh, he's going to be on the
Oh
field.
my god,
tomorrow.
I'm not gonna hear myself boo. Like that's how loud it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: the players are just gonna stand there.
Guys, I saw the stadium seating chart. Opening day isn't even sold out. There's a lot of seats left.
But it's pretty close.
No, there's like 800 seats
That's not that many.
Bro, for opening day.
That'll.
Hey, listen, last season, opening day was sold out by February.
Wasn't it also like on a Friday?
Our home opener.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, yeah, I mean,
But even
Thursday.
still, that doesn't matter. It's opening day.
That is true.
Oh, hey, and a lot of people have Friday off. So,
True, yeah.
I mean, the stock market's closed. I mean, most people have Friday off, so I don't think that's
I
a
mean, it's like
reason.
800-ish. I imagine it'd be sold out. And it'll also feel like it's sold out. That's the biggest part.
I get that, but what I'm saying is that I want them to feel the pain. I want Stanton to look and be like, "Wow, people are not paying the exorbitant prices that I just upped the seat price." I mean, bleacher seats are going for $54 a pop. Bleacher seats, our cheapest seats available tomorrow are $54. I saw
But
that.
that's for tomorrow.
No, but they even upped bleacher seats like for regular season
Yeah, they
games.
do have the value games though, which I like. Value
Sure,
games are cool, but it kinda evens out other prices.
it just
Anyway,
irritates me. That's all.
well, here's the thing though. He is so dumb, I'm gonna say it. He's so dumb at business that if we don't pay for seats, he'll even lower the payroll. And and there's nothing that we can do about it
Yeah,
unless he John, sell the freaking team.
yeah. Just sell them to somebody that actually wants
That
to
actually
spend
cares.
money.
He's like, "Oh, I don't care. I care about winning as much as you guys do."
No, you don't.
Really?
False.
No, you do not.
That's a false statement.
That is not true in any sense.
Well, and here's the cool part is at least our front office, right? Jerry and Justin pulled some magic out of their hat, put together a lineup that we're actually excited about, despite having all those things. And he's like, we actually have a higher payroll. I'm like, we have the data in front of us, dude. We
We do
know,
by like what 600,000.
right?
Like, what
We
is that? What
right,
is that to you?
right.
It's just like shush.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Just stop talking.
I don't want to stick on John Stanton because I'm excited for
It just
tomorrow.
gets
The
me
more we
so
talk about it,
upset.
the more it's going to irritate me.
Ugh.
A couple of players that got optioned or released that we did want to talk about. Jonathan Clase, he's going to start with the Rainiers,
Start with
with
the
the Mariners.
Mariners.
Lol. He's going to start with the Rainiers, which is kind of surprising. I mean, it's good for him. That tells us that he's closer than we thought, which is great. We did see that Vargas got sent down to AAA as well, which is kind of a surprise. I mean, honestly, we thought he was going to be one of the bullpen guys.
Yeah.
Did not. And then we also saw that they released Brian Anderson. That one we did see coming. There's just no room. We wanted to see what Urias could offer. He came through and showed that he can be on the other side of that platoon. Brian Anderson probably earned himself a job with another team. That's going to be at the major league level. Of course, he's not going to stick around for AAA. So
Probably gonna be a bad team though.
yeah,
It'll probably be a bad team because I mean, he's good, but he's just not an everyday player like he used to be.
yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
getting back on track with some good news, we have Mariners commercials, man.
Oh, we're so back. The commercials are so good. The first one was the Big Dumper Trucking
So
one
funny, so
with
funny.
all the pictures and whatever. We got junk in the trunk, blah blah blah. The blooper video is even funnier. And then the other one,
Lepidra, The Rock,
The Rock,
dresses like The Rock in the
that
with the fanny pack and everything. Dude,
that's
the acting is so bad.
so
It's
horrible.
so bad, but it makes it so good. I don't even
Yeah,
care. I love it.
or like when Mitch is like, "Man, things really changed around here." You have no like
You're like,
tone
okay.
in your voice,
You're like, great. Hey,
and then
buddy,
like the fake food right there, like
don't quit your day job.
they're just stabbing at the food. It's so bad,
So
but it's
good.
so corny and like, but that's what makes it funny.
No, that's what makes them great is
Yeah,
that they're not actors. They're
because they're
total
not good.
goofballs and they're not good, but they're so not good. It's good. You
Yeah,
know? So
yeah, like
anyways,
they're literally like, I feel like they recorded it so many times that, and they laughed every single time that if they smile just a little bit, they're just gonna keep it. Like the Rock one, JP was like laughing pretty much while he was talking, and they're like, "We'll keep it." They didn't care. And then they cut out like they had a part in the blooper reel that they didn't even like use. Like he was like, Luis was like, what are you cooking?" Just like a random chef, and they didn't even put in the actual thing. It was hilarious.
well, they're so back.
But we're so back.
They're
I
so
want to see
back.
the other ones.
Yeah, we will. I'm sure they're going to come out
Probably
really
one today.
soon. Probably today, honestly. Dude, some goofy stuff from MLB.com. Just goofy stuff. So they come out and they say that we have the number one rotation in baseball. Great. Simultaneously, they come out with their top 10 list of bullpens. We don't even make the top 10. Like what planet are we living on? On what on God's green earth is MLB.com doing? They're telling me that a healthy bullpen of Brash and Santos and Munoz and Stanek, like you're telling me that not only is that I would argue that's a top 5 bullpen in all of baseball. You're telling me that's not even top 10? Just
Well,
absolute
what they're
nonsense.
telling me is they use the roster that they see on Fangraphs right now, right at this second, and not the bigger picture.
Just
I agree with the rotation. I mean, it's great. Like I should feel happy that someone finally gave us like recognition. And then the bullpen's like, it's whatever to me. I can see what they valued, and they valued what does it look like when they make this article. And right now, it's not like full strength. Completely understand.
which we'll get to with our injury updates when we get there.
Yep.
Um, dude, I'm just telling you, I'm gonna say this point blank. I'm going to riot in the streets of Soto if Dom Canzone is not our starting left fielder tomorrow. There's no world that Rayleigh should be starting over him. He absolutely torched spring the entire time. He was arguably the MVP of spring. I mean, honestly, you could make an argument that Dom Canzone was the MVP of spring training for the Mariners.
Reed Van Scotter.
Oh boy.
No.
Dude, you have to mention him every show.
Yep.
This is going to become a thing. Goodness gracious. I'm just saying Dom Canzone should be starting in left field. I got into it a little bit with the guy on Twitter. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about Rayleigh's track record, whatever. You go with the hot hand. And thank God Scott is finally like, hey, these early games actually matter. I'm like, we tried to tell you that last year when you pissed 2 months down your leg and weren't actually trying to win games. And you're trying to, oh, we're getting guys reps and we're trying to see what everybody. No, that's what spring training is for. These are real games that matter. We missed the playoffs by 1 game because you were an idiot for the first 2 months of the season and mismanaged basically every game. It was a nightmare last year. How they used the bullpen was a mess last year. The lineups were stupid. Like they were putting guys out there that shouldn't have any business being out there. They're giving guys they're like, how many more at bats do you need to give to Tommy La Stella to know that he's not going to be the guy for you? I'm just saying, like
I will say Rayleigh did end the spring on
the
a
last
little.
2 games, yes. The last 2 or 3 games, Rayleigh came through and got some knocks. So he did finish on a good note, which is good because Ty France is about to go on paternity leave any day, by the way.
Yeah.
So Ty France and his wife are expecting a baby at literally any time, which means that we're going to see Rayleigh at first in the near future. No,
I'm okay with that.
which is
Yeah.
fine. And the fact that his bat's getting hot is only a good thing for the Mariners. All I'm saying is like Dom Canzone has to be in the lineup, and so does Mitch Haniger. There's no argument to be made.
Yeah.
They're hitting lefties, they're hitting righties. Both of them are. You have an outfield of Dom Canzone in left, Julio in center, Mitch Haniger in right. If it's anything other than that tomorrow, there's going to be riots in the street. Not actually, but I want to.
Be prepared. I don't know. I don't know if they care about the better spring or the better career.
I don't care about the career, dude. Go with the hot hand. Who's hot right now? And then if that changes, then make an adjustment. This should not be challenging.
Anyway,
Sorry, if you can't tell, I'm passionate about it. Here's the deal. I feel like Scott's a good clubhouse manager. I really do. I really do. I think he's a great clubhouse guy. I think the guys all really like playing for him. He understands how to operate with professional players. All of that's good. All of that's good. But his bullpen management drives me up the wall a ton. He does stuff that doesn't make sense, like freaking Robbie Ray Bullitt, right? Which I knew for the second Robbie Ray stepped out on the field, I knew he was blowing that game. Literally everybody that watched the game with me could tell you, right? Like the bullpen decisions he makes are moronic at times. And then sometimes he gets cute with the lineup. I'm like, don't get cute with the lineup. Just roll out the best hot hands right now. I don't care about handedness as much as you do. Just roll out who's hitting and who's not. If they're hitting, keep them in the lineup. It drives me insane. Sorry, this is my soapbox for the day. It drives me insane when a guy will go like 3 for 4, 2 or 3 days in a row, torching, and then he'll give him a day off. And I'm like, do not give him a day off until he starts to cool off. Do not take the hot bats out of the lineup. Why is this hard for you? Right? This is not challenging. You play guys when they're hot. You don't play guys when they're not. This is not that hard. If a guy starts to cool off, then you start, replacing him with other guys, whatever. And I have a feeling that this will not be the last time I rant about this as the season goes on.
yeah, I don't feel like it will either. In other news,
Yeah. Moving on.
Pitching Ninja, our boy,
Our boy, Rob Friedman.
ranks
Shout out.
ranks Logan Gilbert as the number 1 dark horse to win Cy Young. You know,
Cool.
cool. I've really no other opinion on that. Like, on
It's just a point of note. It's just a
it's
point of
just
note.
like, yeah,
But I
cool.
did want to end our Mariners update. Actually, let's get into injury updates, and then I'll give you the last one
Okay.
because you know why I want to bring up that one last.
So Brian Wu unfortunately lands on the IL with elbow inflammation, the same injury he had last year, and they're taking just extreme caution with it.
It sounds like he's fine.
Sounds like he's fine.
The MRI came back clean. It
Okay.
sounds like it's the same injury that he had last year. They're just being really precautious because it's the beginning of the season.
So now, that means Emerson Hancock will be the 5 starter. Oh boy.
Which, if you didn't see his last couple starts,
Oh boy.
they did not go great.
Sam Haggerty will start on the IL with a personal medical issue. I wish nothing but the best.
Yep. We don't know what's going on
It's
or
a
what
non-baseball
happened.
issue.
It's
That's what they said.
non-baseball. Divish did come out and confirm because there were people with conspiracy theories, whatever. Divish is like, nope, it's a real thing. Like, give him space. I'm like, bro, all the best. Like, hopefully you get better. Get back to AAA, produce, and then come help out the big league club.
Yep. Matt Brass threw a 25 pitch pin the other day at 85%. Still on track for a return around late April. And then Santos will undergo an MRI tomorrow on opening day. And if it comes back clean, he'll return to the throwing program that he was on beforehand. Got paused with it. What's the final bit in updates, Trevor?
Well, we need to let's do the Mariners stat leaders. We're
Okay.
still in Mariners updates land here.
Okay. So Ryan Bliss leads in games played. This is finalized at the end of spring
Yeah,
training.
this is it. So we're done. There's no more spring training games. These are the final stats from spring training, and then we get to move on with our
Ryan
honors.
Bliss played 19 games, led the team, where Polanco led in hits and doubles. He had 18 hits total, 5 doubles. There's a million guys that had a triple. I'm not going to read all of them for your time. Mitch Haniger had 5 home runs, led the team. Polanco had 17 RBIs. Dylan Moore led with 10 walks, and Ryan Bliss led with 5 stolen bases. On the pitching side, now when I did this the other day, 2 people were tied, and then it changed. Colin Snyder led the team in games played with 10.
That's
On the
hilarious.
pitching side, Luis led in innings pitched at 18 and a third, and Logan Gilbert led in strikeouts with 24.
Let's go. Those are good stat leaders. I love it. We're gonna get into our predictions here in a second, but I did want to close out our Mariners updates here with the fact that my hot take last week, if you were listening last week, if you're a consistent listener, first of all, thank you. We're so back. Second of all, I had a hot take that the Mariners were going to make Ethan very happy and that they were not going to lose another spring training game between last Tuesday and the end of spring training. Now, they tempted fate a few times. However, Trevor's hot take was 100% right, baby. There was a couple ties in there, which is hilarious. We ended up with 4 ties on the season. Mariners finished spring training at 15, 13, and 4. What
Like a hockey
percentage?
record.
What percentage does that get us to, Ethan?
Or what does it round to?
What does it round up to? The cursed number of 54%. Which means Jerry is
smiling from ear to ear.
Amped. We did it. Honestly, though, starting spring training 1-9 and then finishing 15, 13, and 4 is actually huge.
Yeah.
Like, that's actually crazy.
Shout out to the offense.
Yeah, the offense carried
Good grief.
all throughout. It was exciting to see. And like I said, dude, I'm taking spring training. I don't take it very seriously in a lot of different ways, but what I will take seriously is our normal starters producing offensively. Because that actually translates, right? A bat that gets hot stays hot. And hopefully we see that translated against the Red Sox tomorrow, which I will talk about.
We finished spring training with the number 1 offense in runs scored.
Wow.
By
Who had
17 runs.
Who had that on their bingo card? I did not.
Oh, wow. The Marlins finished last. I'm so shocked. Their offense is putrid.
Yeah, they're going to struggle.
Oh, my God. We're trying to trust Tim Anderson, really? We'll get into that in a sec.
All right, so this week we are not doing our Prospect Insider. Instead, we are filling that with our prediction segment. So let's get into that. All right, so we're going to blast through these. Ethan's going to want to fight me after basically every single one that we talk about. So we're going to do our best not to do that. We're going to go through our Mariners team predictions first, and then we'll get into our division predictions. We'll start off with MVP. I'll just say this. Ethan kind of jobbed me a little bit because he filled his out first, and I felt like I couldn't say the same things for the team predictions.
See, that's what you did for the standings.
It's not what I did for the standings. The standings I already had worked out in my head from last night. I went and looked at it last night. I just didn't write them down. So I had all the division stuff already in my head. But with the team predictions, I did pick guys that you didn't, just for the content. For the listeners. There you go.
There we go.
So who did you have as team MVP? This is not surprising.
Julio.
Shocking.
Really shocking.
Definitely could see that. I put Cal. I think if it's not Julio, it could very well be Cal.
Yeah.
I think if he produces anywhere, like if he produces like he did last year, even better than last year, which is very possible. The only thing that I think might hamper that is I don't think he's going to play as many games.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, catcher.
So I think Zavala is going to play quite a few games, so that might prevent him
Because
from
then
getting
Garver's
team
going to
MVP.
DH. So that takes him out of that spot a little bit. See, he's going to have a little bit less games. Probably like
which is
110,
probably a good thing.
Good for the long term.
Right. Yeah. That's good for the playoffs. So more than likely, Julio will get MVP. Like I said, I didn't go with didn't go with Julio because you did. So there's that.
My Cy Young, George Kirby.
Also would probably pick George Kirby, but I'm going to go with Castillo. I think he has a bounce back year. Last year he struggled a bit, but I don't think he's anywhere close to the end of his tank. I think this year he's going to bounce back. I think the fact that teams can't like play around one of our pitchers is going to be huge. The fact that we have 3 aces all back to back to back, like what are teams going to do? You know, normally there are teams that will kind of stack their lineups in different ways around certain pitchers so that it doesn't hurt them as bad. You can't do that against us.
Yeah.
So I think Castillo or Kirby or Gilbert could all win the team Cy Young.
Mm-hmm. For my reliever of the year, this
was surprising.
Yeah, and I have a reason for it. I picked Ryan Stanek because out of the top 5 arms that we have in our bullpen, or 4, I think he will have the most appearances because he will not get injured.
Dude, you're gonna put that. Oh my gosh, you're gonna say that? Aren't you a baseball? Yeah, you better knock on wood. Aren't you a baseball guy? We don't say these types of things.
Dude, I look back. He has played the full season.
If you're watching this on YouTube, you're seeing my face, man. Oh my gosh.
He's played the full season every year in Houston. I am knocking on wood.
Yeah, when
Ryan Stanek, stay healthy.
Now, when he gets hurt, I'm gonna literally like just look into your soul.
Oh yeah, because that's my fault.
It is your fault. I went with Santos. I think he's gonna get healthy at some point mid-April, end of April, and then he's just gonna be a dude. I mean, honestly, Munoz could be in here, Brash could be there, Santos could be there, Stanek could be there. I'm impressed. Our bullpen's going to be so nasty when we get full health. And I think they're just being overly cautious. I think if we were playing the playoffs today, those guys are probably close to, if not pitching.
Or right. At least closer.
Moving on to the rookie of the year.
This is tough.
We both had question marks because who knows? I did try to put Dom Canzone because I thought he didn't play in enough games or get enough at bats to still be considered a rookie.
And I fact checked him.
He quickly fact checked me before we even got on the air. And so I went with Tyler Locklear. I think he's going to get called up at some point. His bat got hot towards the end of spring as well. I think that he could have an impact on the squad this year.
And I put Ryan Bliss. Ryan Bliss? Because you just don't know. Like, Demo could get hurt, and then Hack could still be out with his thing. Obviously, hope he gets better. I
think Samad Taylor's the first one up in that case, but
who knows? You got to see what they do in AAA first.
Right.
So like I said, I mean, you could go Emerson Hancock, but do we really?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Nope.
For a breakout player, we both picked a bullpen guy, which is cool.
Yep.
I picked Tyson Miller.
I could see that.
Does not have a lot of innings under his belt. I could have honestly put him for rookie of the year.
Yep.
Probably should have, looking back at it. But I think, there's the whole thing, "Oh, he's the next Paul Sewald." Okay, calm down. But I think he will be a solid enough arm. A good middle innings relief guy. He'll be fine.
2 weeks in a row, we get the sirens in the background. Welcome to Tacoma. My breakout player was Taylor Saucedo, man. Getting saucy. I think he's going to be huge for us. I mean, obviously, he's not going to be the back end lockdown guy, but you know what? You need solid bullpen arms that are bridge guys between the starter and the closers, right? And I think he's going to be huge.
Yeah. So, pretty good picks. Would not be surprised if any of these happen. I think my biggest wild card was Ryan Stanek. I just think
That was shocking.
production-wise, you're probably right with Santos, but I think Stanek are gonna have more games, if that makes sense. He'll be not like Topa games. Because Topa pitched a lot of games last year. Obviously, Topa was awesome, and you can't expect Stanek to do that. But no. So,
It's true. That was shocking. All right, let's get into the division projections here. Like I said, we literally were opposites, or not opposites. I shouldn't say that. We did not have one division that we had as the exact same. So Ethan is convinced I'm being contrarian. I'm not.
Because you literally just said it for the team predictions. You
These are
literally just said it.
what?
You said that you were
For the team.
Yeah, for the team.
I didn't do that for our standings prediction, so
No.
I didn't know what you were going to put in here. All right, so we'll start out with the AL East.
Okay.
You want to do yours first?
I'll do mine.
We'll go alternate. So you go first in the East. I'll go first in the Central. You go first in the West, and we'll just keep working.
So AL East in 5th place. I'm gonna go 5-1.
Whoa.
5th place, I have the Boston Red Sox. In 4th place, I have the Tampa Bay Rays. In 3rd place, I have the Toronto Blue Jays. In 2nd, I have the New York Yankees. And in 1st place, I have the Baltimore Orioles.
Okay. So you're wrong. It's fine. The Yankees are going to be bad. I don't think they're going to be good. Garrett Cole's hurt. Their pitching is low. I don't know. I just don't think Soto is going to be enough, just like he wasn't for the Padres. So I in the AL East, I had the Red Sox in 5th. I have the Yankees in 4th. I have the Blue Jays at 3rd, the Rays at 2nd, and the Orioles at 1st. So at least we have the winner of the division the same. I think the Orioles are going to absolutely dominate. I think they're going to win 100 plus.
I just think the Rays, I just don't think that I think this is a down year for them.
We think that every year about the Rays.
I didn't. I think this year will be the down year of the Rays.
We shall see.
Because honestly, I mean, they didn't do anything in the offseason, which is gonna freaking bite me. But I mean, they lost Wander Franco, 2 reasons I want to talk about again. Cabby's gonna be their opening day shortstop. I'm looking at these names: Richie Palacios, Rene Pinto.
But we can at least agree upon the fact that I don't think the Blue Jays are going to be good. 3rd even might be too high for them, but I think 3rd kind of fits. Orioles, I think, are just going to dominate. I think they're going to dominate their division completely.
I don't think they're going to be. I think they're going to be not as good as they were last year because they don't have Felix Bautista. They don't have Kyle Bradish to start the year. So I think early on they're going to get beat a little bit in division, and then they'll really start to turn it on. But it might be too late to get a higher seed. As
we shall see.
Yeah.
All right, AL Central. My picks are surprising. Not really. Actually, they are.
They are.
So I have finishing up in last place the White Sox, followed by the Guardians, followed by the Tigers, which I don't understand why so many people around the league are so high on the Tigers. I mean, they're Tarek Skubal. I mean, that's got to be it, right? Like, there's a couple guys that are good for the Tigers. I still think they're a year or two away from being really, really good. There's a lot of people that are really high on them. I don't understand, but here we are. I have the Twins in 2nd, and then I have the Kansas City Royals winning the division. I'm higher on them than I know most people are. I don't know if it's recency bias because of how they played the Mariners last year, but they were a really, really dangerous team and played us really, really well last year.
They played us well. They lost 100 games last year.
I know, but all I'm saying is they were the best, worst team last year, and I think that they had a good offseason. Not a great offseason, but they had a good offseason. And I think it's going to be interesting. I think the Royals win. I know that's
You
enough.
know who
I
their
know that's
opening
a
day second baseman is gonna be? Adam Frazier.
let's go, Adam. Resurgence time,
So,
boy.
in 5th place, I have the White Sox. In 4th place, I have the Guardians. We got those 2, right?
Yep.
In 3rd place, I have the Royals. 2nd place, I have the Tigers, and in 1st, I have the Twins. I think the Twins are just gonna run away with it.
Yeah, I mean their pitching is probably best in
I
that
think they have the
division.
best lineup.
But here's the deal: they're going to win their division with like 82 games. It's going to be irritating.
No, they're not gonna. They're gonna. They might win more than like 88. Honestly,
You think so?
yeah.
I don't
I
think
think
so.
Pablo Lopez is a freaking stud.
I think that's the worst division in the AL
I
by a
well,
good
obviously,
margin.
but
And
that's why though. That's why they're gonna win a lot of games because I mean they're gonna beat down the White Sox because they're garbage. The Guardians are not as good as they used to be. Terry Francona retired. They're not gonna be good. Not as high on the Royals. And I'm not as high on the Tigers. So I think the Twins have a good chance of running away with it. Honestly, so I think Royce Lewis will stay healthy and Buxton. So moving on to the West.
the one that everybody cares about.
I don't even have to say 5th place. I don't have to say 4th place.
You probably should just for the listeners.
Okay, 5th place A's, 4th place Angels. Like
Yeah, we both have
the
that.
sky's blue. In 3rd place, I have the Rangers. I think they will struggle early. I think they'll have World Series hangover. Their pitching is not there early, and it'll be too late for them to bounce back. In 2nd place, I have the Mariners. I just can't. I can't not put the Astros first. I mean, they've won it how many years in a row now? It's been insane.
But look at how they won it last year by the skin of their teeth and because we gave it to them.
Yeah, still won it.
So for mine,
That's even with Jordan and Altuve missing time.
right. So mine, I have the A's and the Angels in the same spots, but I have the Astros in 3rd. I think that they're going to struggle out the chute with their starting pitching situation as well. I don't think their lineup is as good as it's been. There's a couple of guys that have 1 foot out the door, like Bregman, that they're going to play in their last year this year. I just don't think they're going to be as good, man. I think this is where they finally start to fall off. Last year they did fall off, and I think this is going to be even more so this year. I think we're going to take it to them. Last year we played them really well. I really think we're going to continue to do that. I have the Mariners in 2nd. So same as you. I just have a hard time having them win the division. And simply because the Rangers, as we've talked about, yes, their starting pitching is going to be in a rough spot to start the year, but that offense is going to carry them a long ways, just like it did last year. Their pitching wasn't great last year, dude. That's why they had to go get Jordan Montgomery. Remember,
And Scherzer.
That's what I mean. Is they had to go get reinforcements at the deadline because their pitching wasn't great either, and their bullpen wasn't great, which is why they went and got Chapman. I'm just saying their pitching was rough last year, and look what they did in spite of that already too. So I think their offense is going to make up a lot of ground for the lack of pitching, and I think they're going to win the division. I think it's going to be close though. Like I think it'll be 1-2, and like it's going to be separated by like 3 games or less
Yeah.
between the Rangers and the Mariners. I think it's going to be Rangers, and then the Mariners are going to be within a couple of games of them, one of the top wild card spots, and then the Astros will be below us by a couple of games.
Yeah. Honestly, like any scenario of the 3, like you could
make an argument for all 3.
Yeah, there's a very valid argument for all 3.
Well, considering the division didn't get decided until game 161 last year,
Exactly.
tells you that it's all pretty
It's
even.
going to be the same.
It's going to be the same. That last week is going to be absolutely insane.
So moving on to the National League. You want to go?
Yep. I have the Nationals in 5th. No surprise there. I have the Mets in 4th. I'm not high on them at all. I think they're going to be terrible. I have the Marlins in 3rd, which they're not going to be good either. Honestly, those 3 teams are all going to be racing to the bottom. Like they're all terrible. So Nationals, Mets, Marlins, those guys are all going to suck. They're all going to be 15 games plus under 500. And then we have the Phillies in 2nd, Braves in 1st. And I don't even know if there's an argument to be made that the Braves won't be first place outside
The
of crazy
Phillies won't be
injuries.
2nd.
Right. I think those are 1-2 locks, no matter what.
Yeah. So I have the Marlins in last. I don't like what they've been doing. I think the Nationals are going to be in 4th. The Mets are going to be in 3rd. Phillies are going to be in 2nd, and the Braves are going to be in 1st. I am not high on the Marlins at all. Like I'm looking at their FanGraphs projections right now. Like Luis Arias probably isn't going to hit 340 again.
Right.
Tim Anderson slotted as their 5 hole right now. oh boy, I see a lot of like converted second basemen all around the roster. I mean, they have Jazz in center, they have Luis Arias, who is the worst defender out of all of them, and he's slotted at second base. He can't play first because they have Josh Bell. Jake Berger's not a good defender at third, but he's also their 3-hole. And then a bunch of unproven outfielders like Jesus Sanchez and
They're
Brian
just
De La Cruz.
they're just going to be bad,
There's
right?
gonna be sorry,
They're just going to be bad. It's a fine. You just wanted to go off on the Marlins. I'm
did
like, I don't care enough about the Marlins to. I'm like, okay.
explaining why they're
The
being
NL
dramatic.
East is going to be Braves 1, Phillies 2, and then any of those other 3 in a random order that aren't making the playoffs. Who cares?
So moving on to the Central, I have the Pirates in last, the Brewers in fourth. That could be a little bit,
A
shocking.
little bit of a hot take.
Cardinals will be in third, the Reds will be in second, and the Cubs will win the Central.
That's okay. So not the Cubs part, but the Cardinals. The Cardinals are going to be terrible this year. Like terrible. They become the retirement home of baseball. Praise God, the Mariners have finally lost that moniker. I think the Cardinals are going to be the worst in that division. I think the Pirates are going to be better. They do have an inflow of younger talent. They have some exciting young players that are there. I think they're going to do better than they did last year. Brewers are going to be in third. Reds are in second. Cubs are in first. So at least we have the 1 and 2 slots in. I think the Reds are going to have a good year this year. Cubs, I don't think are going to be amazing. I don't think this division is going to be won by a huge win total either, to be honest. I don't think the NL Central is a very strong division, so I don't think it'll require a whole lot to win that division for the Cubs.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the NL West. Again, a couple of obvious ones. We have the Rockies in the cellar, of course. I have the Padres in fourth, man. I don't think they've done enough. They blew up their juggernaut of a lineup last year. I just don't think they're going to be very strong. They've got holes all over the place. So I just don't
I
see
did
it.
like the Dylan Cease trade though, but then they
like
also lost Snell.
I did like the Dylan Cease trade, but I think the Giants are on the up. I think the Giants sneakily had one of the best off seasons in all of baseball. Jung Ho Lee, they got Tom Murphy, by the way, had another bomb yesterday to end their spring training, which was cool against the A's. That was funny. I think the Giants are going to be better than people are giving them credit for, man. They got Snell. I'm just saying, like they had a sneaky good offseason. We'll see what they do with it. Here's my hot take. I don't think the Dodgers win the NL West, dude. I'm just not a Dodgers guy. I don't believe in the hype. I just don't. Like I know that they spend a ton of money, but bro, their infield is a mess right now.
It is.
I don't love them. And I think the Diamondbacks did more in the offseason, believe it or not. They didn't spend as much money, obviously. But how the Diamondbacks operated this offseason and invested into their core, I think they're gonna run it back and they're gonna win the NL West.
Yeah, it's hard for me though. It's hard to argue against the Dodgers because they've won it like 10 years in a row, something like that. Anyway, so I have the
All
Rockies.
Giants have to fall,
Rockies
bro.
in the cellar. I have the Giants in fourth. I do not think they had a good offseason, right? They had a great offseason. I just don't think it makes up for what they either lost or what they already have. I mean, they have Matt Chapman in the 4-hole. He would be our 8-9 hitter. Anyways, Padres in third, Diamondbacks in second, and then the Dodgers in first. I think the Dodgers will win like over 100.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Let's do our playoff seeding really quick. Going with the 1, I have the Rangers. 2, I have the Orioles. 3, I have the Royals. 4, I have the Mariners as the top wild card. 5, with the second wild card, is the Astros, and then with the 6th, aka the third wild card, that is the Rays.
I have the Astros as the 1, the Twins as the 2, because I think they'll just run through the division. The Orioles at 3, the Mariners at 4, the Yankees at 5, and the Rangers at 6. So I noticed you had the Rays and I had the Yankees. That was the only thing that really changed other than the seeding. And the Royals and the Twins. That was another one.
So in the wild card round, I have the Royals playing the Rays with the Royals winning.
What? And I have the Orioles and the Rangers playing with the Rangers winning. So a little upset there.
That's a big upset. And then the other wild card, I have the Mariners playing the Astros, and I have the Mariners winning.
I have the Mariners against the Yankees with the Mariners winning.
Heading into the divisional series for the AL, I have the Rangers playing the Mariners, having the Mariners win.
I have the Astros playing the Rangers with the Astros winning.
And then I have the Orioles playing the Royals, and of course, have the Orioles winning that one.
I have the Mariners playing the Twins, with the Mariners winning.
Moving on to the ALCS, I have the Mariners playing the Orioles, and I have the Orioles winning and moving on to the World Series.
I have the Mariners playing the Astros, and the Astros win.
So both of us believe that the Mariners are reaching the ALCS, but not to the coveted World Series, which would be a bummer. I mean, we hope we're wrong in that. We
Yeah,
hope
we
that
hope.
at the end of the year, we hop on the pod and we're like, we were happily wrong
Yeah.
because they made the World Series.
It's just being the only franchise that hasn't made it. You can't be over your skis like that crazy. If the year to do that was 2022, not now.
Agreed. All right, let's move on to our National League. You want to go first with yours?
Yeah, so I got the Dodgers in first for number 1 seed. I got the Braves at 2, Cubs at the 3, Phillies at the 4, Diamondbacks at the 5, and the Reds at 6.
And I have the Braves at the 1, Diamondbacks at the 2, Cubs at the 3, Dodgers at the 4, Phillies at the 5, and the Reds at the 6.
So we have the same.
All the same teams,
all the
just
same
different
teams.
orders.
Yep. But then at the wild card round, we had the same matchup: the Cubs and the Reds. I had the Cubs winning,
And I had the Reds winning.
of course. I also have the Phillies playing against the Diamondbacks. The D-backs win that one.
And I had the Dodgers playing the Phillies, which I have the Dodgers winning.
So then in the divisional series, Dodgers Diamondbacks, I have the Dodgers winning.
And I have the Braves and the Reds winning, have the Braves winning.
And then the Braves against the Cubs. Braves win, probably sweep.
And then I have the Diamondbacks versus the Dodgers in the divisional series, and I have the Diamondbacks beating the Dodgers there in the division.
In the NLCS, we have the same matchup. Oh, no, we don't.
No, we don't.
No, we don't. We had the Dodgers against the. I had the Dodgers against the Braves, with the Braves winning.
And I have the Braves versus the Diamondbacks, also with the Braves winning. So different matchups.
So we'll have the Braves, and then my World Series is Astros Braves, and I have the Braves winning in 6.
And I have the Orioles versus the Braves, and I have Orioles in 7. So that's how I think it's going to line up. Again, the beauty of putting this in the podcast is we're going to be able to hold each other to it, and we'll go through it at the end of the year and see how we did. I'm sure we're going to be wrong in a number of different ways, just because there's always surprises, but it'll be fun.
Yeah.
League awards. Let's blast through these really quick. I have the MVP as dark horse. I have Wyatt Langford winning both the MVP and Rookie of the Year.
Julio is my MVP. My Rookie of the Year will be Evan Carter.
Yep. So another Ranger.
It's going to be a Ranger.
It's going to be a Ranger. And then the Cy Young, I have Luis Castillo.
I have Tarek Skubal.
Yeah,
Seattle U.
I could totally see it. Totally see it.
Yep.
And then on the National League, my MVP is easy. I went with Ohtani. It might be tough as a DH only, but I think he'll have a big year.
I have Ronald Acuna going back to back. It's kind of hard. When he went 40 and 70 last year, it's kind of hard to say no to that.
And then our last two, we actually were in agreement with each other.
No way. And on a good note.
It's crazy.
We both had Spencer Strider as our Cy Young and Jung-Hoo Lee as a Rookie of the Year. I was thinking Yamamoto. I can't lie.
Can't say that now.
I was thinking Jackson Merrill, like a dark horse. I was also thinking Imanaga. But then I remembered Jung-Hoo Lee will play every day.
Yep.
And
we'll probably be a dude.
Rake.
Yeah. Probably be a dude. All right, man. Let's get into our player of the week. All right, so we're going to flash through these really quick. My player of the week just finished spring training really strong the last week, especially going Demo. Already brought him up a little bit. Finished off with a couple bombs this last week. Filled in a couple defensive spots. Obviously, he's super utility, so he plays outfield, infield, does it all. He batted .378 in the spring total with a .511 OBP, a 1.105 OPS, and had 8 total RBI. Honestly, dude, if Demo is that, I wouldn't mind seeing him in the lineup 3 or 4 days a week and just giving guys rests and playing all over the place and producing.
Yeah, so mine quickly. Ty France. He was off to a little bit of a slow start to spring. Really picked it up in the last 2 weeks. Dad strength? ? Saying. Since March 19th, he's 7 for 11. He's only struck out 4 times in 42 at-bats this spring.
His at-bats have looked so good.
Yeah, they look way better. Overall, hitting .381 this spring. Second in hits behind Polanco. He's actually second in doubles, too.
He went 3 for 3.
Went 3 for 3.
2 days ago.
Yep.
I didn't see. Did he play yesterday?
I don't believe he did.
Yeah, so his last spring start went 3 for 3. Bat's in a good spot.
Boom.
Boom, baby. Here we go. We're still back.
Oh, we're so back.
All right, let's finish up with our hot corner. So I'll start with mine because Ethan only put in the notes that his hot corner is a secret and it's the most blasphemous one yet. So I'll give you a little bit of a teaser leading into this. Mine isn't super hot. I think the Mariners are going to start with the sweep of the Red Sox. I mean, that's not a huge stretch to get there. Brian Bayo is a good pitcher, but our hitters have been freaking scorching hot all spring. So if we bring that momentum into Seattle, I think we're going to put a lot of runs up on the board. I think Luis Castillo is probably only going to give up 2 at the most. Probably go 5 or 6. Probably not 6. Probably 4 or 5. And we'll get it shut down. We basically just need to hold on to our butts when our bullpen comes in at this point. But I think Mariners are going to start with the sweep of the Red Sox. That's my hot take.
So mine. I was thinking about this yesterday because I'm not a fan of the guy this one's replacing.
I'm ready for the blasphemy.
When, knock on wood, if someone gets hurt again in the rotation, Brian Wu comes back, Emerson will have 1 or 2 starts for his belt. I think Emerson will get roughed up so bad. When someone gets hurt, the next guy that will be called up is Casey Lawrence.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is blasphemous.
It is blasphemous.
You're going to end our podcast this week on that downer of a note, talking about injuries and guys getting shelled. Awesome. Well done, Nemo.
But here's the thing, though. I just don't think the last month has looked rough. The first few starts were good. He was up to 97. Emerson was. He's up to 97, and he's got life on his fastball, and his changeup's working well with the fastball, and then we haven't heard anything since. Back at 92, 93.
Well,
he only has 1+ pitch in this. That's the changeup. Can't really get many righties out with a changeup.
Well, we're going to find out. We will know by the next time we record a podcast how well Emerson Hancock has done. We'll find out on Monday next week. So, all right. Hey, guys, thanks for listening. We were way over time. We figured we'd go long today. We tried to blast through, but we had a lot to cover. Thanks for listening. Hit us up on the voicemail, 253-201-4364. Leave a voicemail, especially as the season gets started. If you have any rants that you want to get off your chest, feel free. Thank you guys for listening. Go like, go subscribe if you haven't already. Go leave us a comment. Go engage with us on X. Go engage with us. Or leave a review of our podcast anywhere that you can do that. That's always helpful. Thanks for listening. You got anything else, E?
And we're still back.
We are back. Start your engines, ladies and gentlemen. Baseball starts tomorrow. Have a good day.